Oh. T-minus 5 minutes. Yep. Sounds good. All right. All right. Whoa. Let's begin. How's everybody doing? Looks like we got a lot of news here. Wow. All right, so here it goes. Welcome everybody to Geezy Truth News. It is February 16th, 2018. So wow, everybody. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Welcome to Geezy Truth News. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of things going on. Wow. We keep saying that all this stuff's going to happen. And then it happens. And then all this, lots of interesting new updates and news flashes. So as you can see, I got my my news updates ringing, going off all over. I got so many people working over here. Every single one of those beeps is people updating and reading all the news flashes and researching all the data. So thank you everybody. Oh, and looks like my technical engineers are contacting me saying that there may be some technical difficulties on tonight's show. So thank you very much for the technical engineers that work very hard. And we appreciate the producers and the directors and everybody working on the studio and the editors and so forth. So thank you. And last but not least, the fans. Thank you very much for the support. Now then, as we were talking about, we have a lot of news updates, a lot of news flashes, a lot of things going on. February 2018. Hopefully everybody's doing good. Now we got some things to look into. Where to start? We're going to have to talk about the world scene, and then we'll go over to inner politics and the economy, and just talk about, everything as usual. And any callers, call in. The phone lines are open. They should be on. As our telecoms engineer, Steve, thank you very much. So let's just jump right in. So first of all, we do have a interesting news update for you guys. We're working on this secret project here, and it's coming up, and that we're going to, we find a lot of research, we compiled it, and we're going to release it. So it's going to be very interesting when it all comes up. And I can't say too much else about it, but it's a pretty good bulk of information. Hopefully we'll see how it all goes. All the truthers in the movement all know about it, and everybody's working on it. So there should be, as QAnon said, there's more news to show. Now then, let's go to the next. So, jumping right in. Oh, and by the way, we are moving this over to a certain, because we have to get rid of the tweeters and the Facebooks and the big conglomerates. Got to stay away from that. Got to move over to preferably perhaps under the blockchain technology, or just somewhat of a open interface type of social media platform where they're not all just doing that polytechnical blocking of the information and suppressing leaked info and stuff like that. So yeah, so we're moving over to something like Gab or perhaps AI or something like that. We've been looking into it. Any suggestions, please feel free to name them. So far the best ones I hear is apparently Gab, and that's the one that we're moving on over to. And if you know any knowledge about how to transform all the info from one database to another, like YouTube to Gab perhaps, please contact us, and my network will communicate with you through that way. So anyway, onwards. That's very important. That's very important. So here's the little few news flashes. There's a lot of things going on, but here's one of them. So of course, the threat of the dollar is decreasing. The power of the dollar is decreasing, and so since the beginning of the year, the purchasing power of the dollar has depleted by, I believe, 10%. And here we can look at the, of course we'll have the, where's the team updating? Are we updating the sources so people can look? So there you go. And anyway, so that's what's going on. There was a 1.2k point drop in the stock market. We'll talk more about that later, but that is an indication of they are going to try to most likely blame Donny Boy, through the stock market, which is why it's unfortunate that he's claiming how good it is, but we'll see, So here, let's see. Now then. Lots of crazy new updates and information, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of false flags, lots of upcoming things, lots of database pictures. We got Hillary Clinton under arrest with the ankle bracelet. You could look that up. So the good guys are winning. Looks like the white hats, apparently they're all posting through QAnon and through all those sources and through all those different venues. And it's looks like it's working out. Donny Boy is doing what he has to do through the he's obviously not trying to press any buttons, which is why when he's posting on Twitter, when he's just saying, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is why it's not happening. So, which is good. Let's see. And then there's the State of the Union, which we were all hoping there was something going to happen, but unfortunately, he didn't really leak out too much information in the State of the Union. You would think that he would talk about that December 21st address, but maybe there's a reason why you have to talk about it low key. Because if I guess you can't. It's like the 100th monkey thing. I guess if you just announce it to everybody, it may not work, or there's going to be a lot of counterattack. So who knows? But in terms of strictly the stock market, though, I believe that they are going to. It's upcoming. It's going to crash. I mean, all the telltale signs of it, of a real one. I mean, that's just like that always happens. There's always a pre-drop before the main drop. If you look at every single crash that's ever happened, there's always a pre-drop, and then it could happen between 1 to 3 months later is when the big boy drops. So that's what we'll take a look at that. And it looks like my network engineers just posted the sources, and they're going to continue doing that, so that's good. So there you go. So there's that. Of course, we already know about the industrial military complex, the medical industrial complex, yada yada yada. We get the whole bibbity bop about that whole thing. So This is just more information, more dollars. The tax return, you guys should get a pretty good penny of the tax return back. And those who are complaining, you shouldn't have, I mean, yeah, of course they're taking plenty of stuff. But hey, this is chump change compared to this. When you look at they turned a $3 drug price skyrocketing into 3 G's. You're going to make a pretty profit with that. So there's that as posted. And let's see what else we got. All right, so here's the false flags. Let's get to the nitty and gritty, ladies and gentlemen. Just like the Pizzagate thing and the Pedogate and all the big stuff, all this stuff is real. It's there. Keeping it under wraps. The more research you do, the deeper you get in the rabbit hole. And so here's another false flag. Now this is the one that happened in Afrin, and they're saying that something like the militia did it, but it obviously wasn't, and there's both sides denying claims. And there's using Turkish gas and all this. So here you go. That you know that it's going through here. This is happening. So whatever this bippity bop is, here's one of them. And then we'll get to our country later. Because that's... the bottom line is they're trying to obviously get rid of opposition. And whatever that is doing the false flags around the world to take away the resources and the info, the power to be able to either have that information or obviously in something like the Second Amendment trying to de-law that. But in most of the world they don't have a Second Amendment, so that doesn't matter. But here in America, that's obviously the biggest thing. So alright, so now when you talk about America, because we already get the whole world, we get the gist of it. With the Donny Boy thing, it looks like Mueller did the indictments, but I don't think he's done. People think he's done. Now it's February 16th, did the indictments. It's a couple of Russian guys, they say, who did the news on both sides. Sure, of course. But those aren't all the indictments, because when you look at the information and the research with Hillary Clinton, you see that there's evidence of her ankle bracelet. So and for some reason they're keeping it under wraps. For some reason, they're keeping it under wraps. But here's a real good one. Let me show you a real good one. Okay, well, I don't know about all this, but it's the same picture that I saw. So you know it's legit. The website might be questionable, but hey, what can I say? So there you go. Alright. So now that we got that under wraps, the next thing is the ICE thing. People have been talking about the ICE thing. And let me tell you, it's no big deal. Look, there's a big difference between, and we've talked about this as a mute point, but it's very, there's coming to this country legally, and there's the coming to this country illegally. And these people, the people who are coming, who are here illegally, the people who are arresting them and sending them and deporting them, what's the problem? Okay, if the parents made the kids, it's not the kids' fault, yes. And technically, they're not citizens because they came here illegally. Now you can say that that's messed up. It's not fair for the child, but hey, this comes down on the parent. I mean, what were they thinking? What? You think ice cubes are just gonna everything just ice cubes? Makes a rap and then everything is fine. Make some money. It's not a American dream. You got to do everything legally, you know. Like the late great George Carlin said, that it's the American dream for a reason. It's because you're sleeping, and that's why it's a dream. However, you can be smart about it, and but play the game. Play the game like it's supposed to be played. But if you're not going to play the game like it's not supposed to be played, well, then this is what happens. And here, my network engineers will put this up real quick here too. There we go. It's all up on there. Ain't nothing. Ain't nothing. All right. So we got that. Now, some people may be wondering what's the deal with the... Oh, here we go. Hold on. What do we got here? Looks like we got a contact here. Why, yes. Hello? Hello, this is Geezy Truth News. Welcome, caller. What is your name?
Hello, it's Mark.
Oh, hello. Mark. What can I do for you?
You wanted me to join the channel and talk about stuff.
Yeah, sounds good. So what do you think? What we were literally just talking about was the ICE. I'm just covering news of the past recent couple of weeks, and there's been some people talking about the ICE thing and what people think about the ICE thing, and I was just saying, look, the point is mute, is that there's a legal and illegal. You come here legally, there's a paperwork, and then if it's illegal, then obviously you got to do the right paperwork, and that's about it. What do you think?
What about the enforcement of it? How do you enforce something over the other?
What do you mean? You enforce it by keeping a locked gate. I mean, what do you think?
I'm not sure.
Well, here, let's go on to the next one. Have you heard about the shooting that happened in Florida?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of information, a lot of interesting information that's been coming out from there.
That's an easy one. It's technology. It can be used for harm or for help. It can be used for ill or not. Someone found a gun and they used it to hurt other people. Any technology can be used for that purpose. It's just too bad that we have the means.
But sometimes it gets a little bit more, it gets more intense than that, because apparently there's a lot of disinformation within the information that doesn't seem to hold up.
I know, it could take a while to figure out the truth if someone's lying, but I don't know.
Right, like for example, like there's already information. Well, first of all, there's no hard evidence. I'm not saying that nobody died, but I'm saying that people should be... The government has lied before, and it's nothing new, and it's a hard thing to look into, but you have to be serious.
Is the Florida shooting a hoax, or is it real? I mean, I think they wouldn't lie about something like that.
Yeah, well, apparently there's not a whole lot of information, just like the LV shooting. I wanted to connect the dots with all of those, because look what happened with you remember the Las Vegas shooting? Nothing happened. There's apparently all these deaths, but nothing happened. They never figured anything out. He was apparently they ruled him out as another lone guy, and it's so hard to believe how many lone guys are there that can do all this. And why would it? And all the information, they say that it's this, but it ends up being that. With this one, they say that there's one, just like the one with the LV and that one. They said that there's one shooter, but then there's others that say it's two, and some are so certain that they hold it up as fact.
wish there was a way I could find out. I mean, like, so it's like, so.
Well, through intense research and being proactive, there's people figuring things out and trying to figure it out. Like there's numerous people who wrote numerous books about the Sandy Hook, of it being a hoax, and there being no information about it, and all these different government ties very peculiar about it, and the dates are wrong, and this and that. So I mean, it's just the information, you know. It's the information at surface value, and you got to take a look. And then earlier, any other questions or comments?
I just hope it all works out. I hope like it's not a wild goose chase, that we're actually getting somewhere with it, because I don't like fake news or something I can't use or need to care about.
Right. Well, you know the end game, right? I mean, you understand the end game with some of these people, right?
Maybe.
I mean, the obvious end game to me and to a lot of people is that they're trying to ban the Second Amendment, along with the rest of the country.
They're trying to what? Sorry?
They're trying to ban the Second Amendment. Or they're trying to get rid of the Second Amendment. A lot of these people are. And that's where, that's where people get in trouble. Because that's how all dictatorships start.
Yeah, I kind of feel a little bit powerless to do anything about it. I mean, it's like I'm just one person, so it's like, what can I do? Sometimes.
Oh, but that's how it works, man. Everybody working together is how it helps. And knowing the truth is already winning. You know what they say? Knowing the truth is half the battle.
Yeah.
Well, would you like to go on to the next subject?
Sure, yeah.
All right. So, the next one is, let's see. They're talking about the Donny Boy, and I was talking about the economy and what that recent 1.2K drop, and just, gold prices in the stock market, and where the crash is going to happen and all that. What do you think about the economy?
I'm not sure.
Well, so here's the thing, and I've talked about this before. It's inflation through deflation. Is that the stock market is inflated. We view our economy by the stock market, correct? And that's what we do. And we see it and it looks good, other than that 1.2K drop. And we see that it looks good. And that's what Donny Boy says, and that's what a lot of people say. But what people don't understand, but a lot of people do, a lot of people are learning, is that it's inflation through deflation. It's just a bubble. And so my hypothesis is that recent 1.2K drop is the precursor of a big drop. And I'm sure we'd have other people agree with that notion. Do you feel me?
Kind of. I haven't been doing as much research as you.
That's what's up. That's all right. That's all right. Well, overall, though... Huh?
So I can ponder all of this and see if I can come up with something.
For sure. Good. Well, I'll tell you what. Everything, for the most part, things are doing good. People are waking up. The indictments are working. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes things going on. QAnon is doing his research. There's people all gathering up. It's like a hive mind. Everybody's working together. It's like a beehive, like an anthill. Everybody's working together, and it's all going to turn out good, because there's people on both sides of the spectrum who want either good, or others like the Rothschilds or whatnot want obviously that they want to collapse the America and NWO. Who knows what goals they have, I mean, some of them they've told us straight up in their books and through speech.
Well, I don't think it really and nobody should be able to overthrow you or try to hurt you. I think there's a lot of good out there. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just don't know where I fit in all of it now. It's like there's just so much out there now. It's like I just become like a voice in a choir. I'm no longer the orchestra.
Well, that's fine. That's good. That's exact. I mean, everybody has a purpose, and you do what you want to do. But you have to be a patriot, and you have to understand the truth. If you know the truth will set you free. If you know what's going on, you already know the situation at hand. And how you can fix it is by telling other people. And if that's the best way you can do it, then that's the best way that's how the revolution happened revolution to come to America, to stay in America and kick the British out. It was all through mouth of word, and that's essentially what it all is. Thomas Paine and his pamphlets and all that. So you learning that's what you should be doing. So if you're asking yourself what should you be doing, you're already doing that. You're already trying to figure things out, and that's good. And we want to know what's up with all that. And if you want to do more, you can get more hands-on. You can figure out now solutions. Solutions is the main thing. It's like, okay, we could talk about all this all night and all day long, but what's the bippity bop? What's next? Well, there's solutions. You could talk about energy devices that you can create energy devices. So there's hydro-powered cars. There's ways to help and to do whatever you want, whether through science or through politics or through talking or through engineering. It's up to you, man. It's whatever you want to do. But knowing the truth is the main. It's like that's the beginning. You got to learn first, and then you shape out how you want.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the call, and take it easy.
Yeah, we'll get things going, I guess.
All right. Have a great night, Mark. Thank you for the call. All right. Well then. So, and the phone lines are open. Callers can call in anytime. We're just gonna go brush right through all the news here and see what's going on. So yeah, so the Florida thing, like we were talking about, is there's a lot of information, just like the Las Vegas one, just like the Sandy Hook one, all these, that 9/11, every single one, JFK. You talk about all these, and you can figure out what's going on. There's too many plot points. There's too many data points. Too many dots and connections where you can read, figure out what's all this. This doesn't. If they're claiming this, then how does this make sense? And you have every single. There's too many holes. Too many holes. You know, how many holes can you have? And that's the gist. So, and to this day, there's no explanations of the. Here's the update on the LV, as I was talking about. Oops. Here's the one, I believe, as I was talking about earlier. There's that. And on to the next. What do we got? Well, there's a lot of fake news out there. So you look up all this stuff. You got to filter out all this sneezy. So, and of course the planned obsolescence and all that. We all know about all that. So when you buy that's why you want to try to the best. It's hard to stay away from these giant tech giants. But when you do that, all the sources are updated over there, thanks to the network engineers. And so, that's why you want to stay away from these guys. I mean, there's too much. They're putting too much pressure on all sides of the cylinder, and that suppresses too much information. That's not good for anybody. That's just the George Orwellian thing that they've all been talking about. So, all right. Well, I'm glad we got all that taken care of. You know, again, my main thing is definitely the Petrogate thing. That's definitely the biggest thing. And looks like we're working on all that. What's going on here? All right. New news. Let's see. What do we got? So we updated on that. Oh, man. See, look at that. We're all firing on all cylinders here, ladies and gentlemen. You got to keep on going. Keep on going. Figure things out. Mm-hmm. This is another interesting new piece of information about the Florida thing. Wow. Look at this. Potentially they were doing a fake code red with fake guns around the same time. They do that a lot. That's very interesting. Here, let me update this. If you notice, they do that a lot. They did that with that 9/11, I know for a fact. They always do, and with a lot of other times, they'll do like a drill during like the real thing, or they'll do the drill, act like it's real, pull it off as a real thing, or actually, you know. So, thank you for that information, and thank you for the call. That was nice. Let's see. And again, this is just, there's the small news and then there's the big news. I'm just fluttering up. When they talk about the no collusion, the Russian collusion, we all know that's already a bunch of hoaxes. Lots of state of emergencies all over the place, all over the world. You know, all the wars in Syria, Middle East. You know, Ethiopia looks like declares national state of emergency. You know, all this, there's going to be a lot of disruption. But a lot of good things are going to happen. I think we can all feel 2018. It's slowly coming under wraps in a good way. So, oh, and I believe if the network engineers haven't already posted the ankle bracelet. Oh yeah, that's right. So there you go. Well then. Yeah, there we go. So, all right. Well, looks like we got a lot of news covered tonight, and what can I say? Thank you very much. Looks like the callers ain't biting tonight. Our correspondents are out of town. You know, thank you everybody. Just wanted to keep in touch, tune in. Everybody's doing good. The newscast is working. The production is keeping on rolling. And we have, thank you, Jim Fetzer and Hakeem Hagopian and a lot of good truthers out there. Don Gron, thank you very much. Everybody's doing good. So, everybody, thank you. And I think we're going to go ahead and call it under wraps. And stay tuned. Because things are only getting better. Stay tuned and keep in touch. Geezy Truth News is out.